Hey everybody, welcome to the most anticipated event of the year, right after SummerSlam, right? Because I heard that SummerSlam just happened too. We are, Slocum Studio, producing one of the most powerful plugins ever, Conductor. I'm your host, Matt, with lead developer and co-host, Scott. Scott.
Hey everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
During this live event, go ahead and use hashtag Conductor Plugin to talk about any questions you might have. If you're watching on the live Google chat hangout, you can actually go to the Q&A section. So if you have questions about Conductor, if you've been following Conductor over the last, I think, 2-3 weeks now, since WordCamp New York when we started talking about it, go ahead and drop in your Q&A or on Twitter, hashtag Conductor Plugin. And our fearless community leader, Dan, is out there on the interweb sort of gathering your questions, right? So we want to do a few things in today's demonstration. One, we're going to demo it. Two, we're going to tell you about why we built it. Three, we're going to give you a little insight to our pitch process and how we've been putting this together and talking to our advisor boards and showing this plugin to different folks throughout the WordPress community, in and out of the WordPress community. Take some demos, take your questions, wrap it all up. Anybody who goes to conductorplugin.com/beta, there'll be a form there. All you have to do is drop in your email address. At the end of this webinar, we're going to send out a beta invite coupon code to get the core Conductor plugin at a special discounted rate and the Conductor plugin with the custom fields add-on that has been super popular lately. Get that at a featured price too. So if all goes well in the technology world, I'm going to switch over to our presentation. We're going to talk to you about what Conductor plugin is, why we built it, who we built it for, that kind of thing. And the first thing is we use this pitch deck as we describe the plugin to our advisors and to other folks, right? So Conductor plugin, what are we doing? We're simplifying content display for WordPress. We're doing this by making it super easy to select and display your content within WordPress. We're going to use a front-end customizer with a very powerful widget that we've put together. We also, like I just said, we just do this in the WordPress customizer compatible. We're trying to stay parallel to what WordPress is doing with the customizer, with how they want us to interact with our websites and all that fun stuff. And we're not really doing anything sort of out of the box or on top of that, right? We're staying very parallel and compatible with WordPress. The first power of Conductor starts with the layouts for post pages, archive pages, and more, front pages, 404 pages, that kind of thing. And it's very important to know that you don't need to use layouts. We're going to talk about that. Conductor can just simply be used through the widget, and we're going to talk about that. First and foremost, we are a WordPress services agency, right? So a lot of this stuff started from over a year ago. We started kind of building what is now known as Conductor for one of our premier clients, Cambridge.com. So they're a news outlet, media outlet. They needed a way for their editorial staff to go ahead and move content around. At any time they wanted to be able to mix and match their homepage or bring breaking news to the top and make it full width. And then when that's done in a few hours, sort of bring it back down. Very hands-on sort of custom content approach. That's one of the reasons why we started building Conductor. Another client of ours that we work with, Tour Azores, so they're in the very competitive travel agency for tours to the Azores, right? Islands right off the coast of Portugal, and they needed a way to manipulate their landing pages for their sales teams and make featured packages, again, small, medium, large, do all that fun stuff without calling us, right? So who is this for? Who is Conductor for? Well, it's for the front end, for the end user. Potentially it's your client. Potentially it's a publishing company. It's a magazine. It's a newspaper. It's a sales team. That kind of thing. But what we're selling Conductor now is developers, other agencies, and our favorite word, implementers. And then, of course, eventually the entire world. We'd love for folks to use Conductor on all of their WordPress sites. So what we're saying is we're going to replace the sort of boring layout, for lack of a better term, of the WordPress archive and blog page, the typical blog roll, and we're going to be able to use Conductor to mix and match these layouts. It's a very modular content approach, so you can have different content layouts throughout your site. So think of your homepage having a layout, think of your news page of having a layout, think of your sports category about having a layout, and being able to mix and match all of that fun stuff. As a developer or an agency or an implementer, you can save time on complex development projects, right? So what we're going to do essentially is we're taking a WordPress query and spitting it out in a different display and a different layout, and then at any point you can change that with a few clicks of your mouse. It's very easy to display content beyond posts and pages. Like right now, we work with post pages and custom post types. We have an add-on to work with custom fields, and we just did a recent demo of using this with the pods framework. It doesn't necessarily need to be pods. It could be your regular coded custom post types and custom fields, advanced custom fields, and eventually we're going to move on to things like easy digital downloads in WooCommerce.
And Gravity Forms eventually as
Gravity
well.
Forms.
And we also have a user add-on as well, so you can query your users.
Yep. So we know that this will save time for developers. We also know that developers are a funky bunch, right? It's hard to get them to use a plugin when they think they want to just code it themselves. So we've spent a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from Scott, building in over 100 hooks, actions, filters. Everything is well documented. In English terms anyway. You can go through the code and kind of find out what you're looking for if you need to edit it or if you need to extend Conductor further than what it does. Number one thing that I'm really excited about is that it's theme independent, right, and data portability. So you're not locked into a theme so that when you build your sort of portfolio page and you switch themes, you now have lost all of this and all you see is a screen of shortcodes. This is built into a plugin. We've done some stuff that Scott will talk about later, sort of the WooCommerce approach and getting our loop in there, injecting into the loop, or Scott will describe that. But it's theme independent. You can move from theme to theme. And choices that won't scare your client, right? So when we take a look at the widget on the front end, it's very easy to use, or at least we hope it's very easy to use. And as potential beta users, it's going to be essential for us to get your feedback, right? And again, conductorplugin.com/beta if you want to grab your seat in a discounted beta buy-in and get access to this plugin before it's released to the wild. So anyway, we think it's very easy for clients to use. So it's not going to really scare them, or so we hope. So what this means to agencies is you can increase your profit margins, right? Something that might take your team 4 or 5 hours to code. Maybe now you can do it with Conductor in just 1 hour. For developers, you're saving boatloads of time. So instead of building custom templates and layouts and calling content, you can do that with Conductor, saving you a bunch of time there. If you're an implementer, well, you can look like a rock star, right? So if you're an implementer, you'll be able to take on more complex projects that we're going to demonstrate with Conductor. So in the end, we think it's a simple solution to a complex problem. We have some future add-ons. Some of these are actually already in the works since this presentation's a little dated. So user query display, how can we show a table of users? We're going to have an add-on for that. Custom fields display, we're actually going to demonstrate that today, and it's actually already built. Content slider, display content in a list and a table, and then of course extending to other plugins and all of that fun stuff. I can't thank our advisory board enough, and I haven't been able to talk about it up until this point, and I just want to give them a round of applause and a virtual thank you for helping us throughout the way. Brian Castle, Carrie Dills, Tom McFarland, Mario Peshev, Bob Dunn, and Nathan Hangen. Without these 6 fine individuals, we wouldn't be where we are today. So if you know them on the internet, on Twitter, at a local WordCamp meetup or local WordPress meetup or WordCamp, make sure you say thanks to them. They're awesome people. They spent a lot of time with us working on this plugin. So thanks for watching the pitch deck. We're going to get into the demos and the demos of what we've been sort of feeding out over the last few weeks, and we want to show you again some of the stuff that we can do with that. Step 1 of Conductor is defining the layout, right? And we can do this on any page, post, or archive page, or front page in this example. So again, you don't necessarily need to activate a layout, though we make it a little bit easier for you to build the layout with widgets. So step number 1, select from a traditional layout, and in this case, it's full width. But at any point, I can change this to go content sidebar, sidebar content, and sort of that kind of flexibility. And you can do this on the fly at any point. Then our second step would be to, we have these shortcut buttons in here. That's how we're referring to them as right now, where you can add a traditional WordPress widget, or you can add the Conductor widget. And these are just shortcuts. It makes it for building these sites a little bit quicker, or so we hope. So we're going to go ahead and drop in a conductor widget. So I've just gone and clicked the conductor widget. I'm going to give this a title, We Love Content. Then we're going to do a basic demonstration. We can select one or many post pages or custom post types. So I'm going to say many. I'm going to go with posts. And then by default, on the right-hand side, you will see the default show 10 posts, right? These are all the posts that we have in this WordPress install. I'm going to go ahead and drill this down to 4, or excuse me, 3. Let's go to 3. That'll switch the count to 3, from 10 to 3. So we're only going to show the 3 most recent. And if I wanted to, I could drill it down and say, you know, give me this category, give me a specific category, order by, author, parent, slug, all that fun stuff, random, and then ascending or descending. We can also add some pagination if we wanted to, but we won't do that in this example right now. The secondary power will come in when we go to display settings. So by default, we're displaying it large, and that's basically 100% width, right? So that's taking up the full width of this layout. We can drop it to medium, and in this particular theme, we specifically have it designed to show 33%, 50%,
yep,
and then 100%.
Yeah. So
if we go to small, we can see 33% right here, and those are our 3 blog posts, right? So now we have our 3 blog posts in a small fashion, 33% across. We can fine-tune the output of this by the default display elements, right? Featured image, title, author byline, content, read more. So if we want to hide the author byline, let's say we don't need that on the home page, we can go ahead and hide that by hitting the little eyeball, and that'll hide it. Normally, people might not want all this content, right? If you don't have this locked down or broken up with like a read more link or something like that, we can actually switch that to just the excerpt if we have an excerpt defined for this blog post. So we switch that to excerpt, and we can see that our content has shrunk down a little bit more. Then maybe we want to say, instead of read more, we want it to say read now. So we can just switch that to read now. And you can see our read more link now reads read now. We can clean it up a little bit more and say, hey, maybe we don't want the title to link, so we'll just remove the link. And maybe we want, so now we see the post title no longer links, the featured image still links. Maybe what happens when we don't want a featured image, we can hide that. And there's our 3 most recent posts. The only thing that links is the read now, read more button. So what we're saying here is, here's 3 posts across. Here's our 3 most recent posts. If this were just like most recent news post, or we could add another conductor widget on top of this and say that to have it read most recent sports posts or most recent business posts. This allows you to sort of stack and then mix and match your content on a home page or a particular category page. And at any point, you or your client can say, you know what, now our home page needs a sidebar. Let's just go ahead and switch the layout, and there we have it. Now we have a sidebar that we can play with and add more content in here, either more widgets, text widgets, or more conductor widgets, and build your layouts that way. Let's go ahead and back down to full width. And we'll add in custom post type. Let me just bring this above. So let's talk about dealing with custom post types and custom fields. So back to the same example, we're going to say many. We're going to go with custom post type that I've already defined in the back end. We happen to use the pods framework in this example. Some of you may have seen that already. You can use, like we said earlier, you can use any custom post type that's, I guess how you say it, Scott, like
just registered within WordPress.
Registered within WordPress. I say the right way to do it. The developer says registered in WordPress.
As long as you use registered post type, it'll show up over there.
Awesome. So we have 3. Now we have our 3 custom post types displaying here, and these are just some fakes. What I'm calling my inventory. Right. These are my inventory posts. So there's only 3, so I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm going to go back down to small just so we can demo something. And now the power comes in to say, okay, so this is content within this custom post type, and that's great. We can see the item, we can see the price, we can see the weight. But we don't really want to format it this way, so we're going to hide the author byline, and we're going to switch from content to excerpt. We're going to save that. and we're going to switch read more to buy now because we want people to buy our products. But what about the custom fields that are associated with these products? Well, we're going to go ahead and drop in and search for our price field, and this is our price field. We're going to go for our SKU field because I've made this in the back end. I know that these two custom fields exist. So this is our price that attaches to this custom post type, and this is our item number, right? This is all just fake stuff. Then we're going to go ahead and fake data. We're going to go ahead and give this a label. So in the interface of the widget, in the widget itself, all I have to do is click on Edit, and I can add this label by saying Price, and I'll save that. And I can edit this item or the SKU field to say item number. And at any point, you can change those labels. You can hide them and make them go away if you, for whatever reason, don't want to show them. And now we can just reorder this for a more traditional sort of e-commerce layout. So that's it, right? So this is your traditional e-commerce layout. You get the image, the post title, price, some other custom fields, and a description, and that'll link right to that product. So this is a great way to either rapidly build content-rich sites, so it doesn't have to be e-commerce. It could be, with our eventual user add-on, a output of users. It could be some kind of directory plugin that you're using custom post types for. Again, why did we build this plugin? Because we were getting the same requests over and over again from our clients. We want to build a content-rich page that we can control, that you guys can support, but we have the ability to sort of mix and match our content, our data. And we're not developers, so we can't do it ourselves. So as we move forward, we'll start adding in new content displays. And right now, something like this is very powerful if you switch this to, say, a table display. So at any point, you could switch your displays and say, give me a table. And this will give you a table output of that content. So a typical scenario, customer says, build me a directory site, or build me a team page that has all our team members on it. And we want a featured image, a title, and some information about them, and a read more link. Well, there you have it. In a couple clicks, we can do this and output a table of content. And you don't want the price here, that's fine. Just go ahead and hide that or remove it, and that'll shrink down your table. You can do this with any kind of content. So you've built this table, but customer no longer wants inventory. They want you to switch it to posts. Hey, no problem. We just go back to the query, switch that to posts, and now here's a table view of our posts. Do you need pagination with that, sir, madam? No problem. You can also get pagination with this. So let's say we'll show 5 posts with, or excuse me, let's say 50 posts with 5 posts per page, right? Conductor will automatically do the pagination for you. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts, and here's our pagination, right? So now you can cycle through, and you can have a table output of 5 posts or 50 posts with 5 posts per page. And oh, no longer need a table view, no problem. We can do that in small and still give you pagination. So again, in this example, what we're doing is mixing and matching content. You see that we've built this upper half, featured images and linking post titles and all that fun stuff with pagination. And then here's our example down here with just some sort of static content that we've put together. It's not static, excuse me. It's, you can't click on the post title. This is just an example of mixing and matching content. Other than that, that's where we're headed with Conductor. Again, conductorplugin.com/beta. If you're interested in this, you want to sign up for the beta, go ahead and drop your email over there, and we will get in touch with you right after this webinar with a discount for the core plugin and for the custom fields plugin. Now we're going to bring our beautiful faces back into this. And we want to go ahead and start cycling through some of the questions, and I'm sure some of these are going to be way above my pay grade, and they'll have to go to Scott. So let's take a look at some questions that we have. Question number 1 from Nuno. Genesis has always special code. Does this plugin work well with Genesis child themes? I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, so we're trying our best to, get Conductor to work across as many themes that are properly coded as possible. We'll definitely expand on that in the future. But the thing that is cool right now, and you actually put a video out about this, you showed Conductor across, I think, 3 or 4 different themes. It works well out of the box with a lot of the themes that we've tested it on, including Genesis child themes.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did, Matt kind of alluded to this a little bit before, is we took a WooCommerce approach. And for those of you that don't know, with your WooCommerce store, they basically take the header and the footer of your current theme, and they sort of place their content in the middle of that. They load their own templates. And so we've chose that approach as well in order to make it theme independent. And be able to be carried across, from theme to theme. So what that means is, number one, your content that was always supposed to be on that page, whatever page it was, will remain intact. We're just simply loading our own template with our own widgets and whatnot in that. Number two, again, that gives us the ability to keep it theme independent as much as possible. And then you can also customize your layout however you see fit. And if you're a developer, you can create your own custom layouts. So Matt showed you we have about 6 different layouts that come default with Conductor. You can extend this to your liking and create your own custom layout as well as your own custom widget display. So you may have noticed the list, the grid, and the table views. That's actually an add-on that we've built, and that extends Conductor and outputs the content in that fashion. So does it work well with Genesis child themes? Bottom line is, in all of our testing so far, yes, it has worked well.
Next question from the same gentleman, Nuno. Does it work with WooCommerce and Exchange? So I'm going to cycle back to our demo site. So right now, the core plugin works with registered custom post types. And by default, WooCommerce registers itself as a custom post type.
Yep.
And I'll show you dropping that widget in. So we're going to say many products. That is the WooCommerce name. And give that a second to update. And here you go. Here are the digital products from WooCommerce. So we have plans on extending to actually work with their custom fields. But right now it works from at least a very very basic level where you can query those WooCommerce products, spit them out onto any page. So we do have clients that have used that so that they could actually feature products in different areas of their website, be it the home page or sidebar or something like that, and be able to modify that on the fly using our widget. So half yes, half coming soon. We've over this process, I've talked to almost 40 different people doing one-on-one demonstrations, and that is one of the most requested support things to come. Same question from Nuno. Does it showcase portfolios and galleries? Same deal. Any kind of custom post type, and even the Jetpack custom post type for portfolios. I did a demonstration on that. That'll be linked up on the website soon at some point. I don't have, or projects I think is the name of the Jetpack portfolio custom post type. And sure thing. So if you were to say something like, here's my display many projects, and you would just come down and say, don't show anything but the featured image, you could hide all of this stuff and output that. I don't know how many there are here. Let's just see how many. So just envision this being on a page as your portfolio. Again, these are custom post type featured images. So as long as we can show the custom post type featured image, this would then link to a page that you might use Foodbox Gallery, Envira Gallery, built-in WordPress Gallery. So that's one quick way to display a portfolio.
And Matt, you can even change the featured image size as well in the advanced settings. So if your images are not uniform and you'd like them to be, that's certainly possible.
Second question from Matt Davis. Will tables support headers? This is the important part of our sort of closed beta, is we want to start using it, start getting feedback so we can start polishing off that UI. We are a company looking to be sustainable, so we're having a paid buy-in for the beta. You'll get the support for a year, you get the updates for a year, and you'll get access to us at a discounted rate, but that is something we are definitely going to be testing the UI with. Nuno, does it work with Exchange? Something we haven't tested yet, but I believe they also register as a custom post type, and we will be moving forward on extending custom fields into that area.
Right.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Again, hashtag Conductor Plugin, conductorplugin.com/beta if you want to get access. The icons seem to show 25% layout for the 30%. The icons seem to show a 25% layout for the 33% layout. Do you plan in the future to add 25 to the mix?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. So right now the current theme that Matt's working with is our Modern Business theme. What we've done in Modern Business is we've changed the small conductor widgets to output as 33% instead of 25. Out of the box, Conductor will output 25% for small, 50% for medium, and 100% for large. The cool thing about our output is, as a developer, a front-end developer, with just a couple of CSS classes, you can go ahead and adjust that, as you see fit. You can even add a custom CSS class to a specific conductor widget, and then target just that widget. Let's say you wanted to make it 10% or 48%. You could go ahead and do that.
Right. Sorry, I forgot to hit the select questions when I was answering those before, but. Nuno, does it support a box to inject CSS? So let me just select that. Back to our demo, just to show you real quick. We did a demo. Like if you were to go to conductorplugin.com right now, you would see a demo of us sort of building a replica of the New Yorker. And basically what we did was lay out the content just like you saw here. Some in a list view, some in a table view, some in a typical side-by-side view. And then all you do is you come into the advanced setting for each individual widget and define a class. So again, back to the small, medium, large, if you're a theme author, designer, you could actually define what your small means, what your medium means, by hooking into our plugin and extending that feature set. Or you could come in and just sort of drill down and just define a CSS class right here in the widget. So if you want to do a quick fix, boom, you could go in there and give this particular widget its own style.
And that's exactly what we did on our New Yorker demo, is we just created some reusable CSS classes and went in and added those to each widget.
Next question comes in from our good friend Topher. What happens when you have a theme that also uses the customizer and also sets things like pagination? Who wins in this head-on collision?
That's an interesting question.
Bingo, you've stumped the judges. Topher, we don't know, but once we get there, you will be the first person that I call up to figure out how to fix it.
I can definitely provide a little bit of insight on that. I want to say I think we'll win out, but we'll have to see, only because we're putting our own template into the mix and we're not sort of using what the theme dictates at that point. So we'll have to see. Great question, though.
Let's see, what else we got? Loads of questions, hey? All right. Let's take one from our friend Jason Resnick. For styling the individual elements, i.e. custom fields on a custom post type, is there a way to add custom selectors?
So that's sort of what we talked about with the advanced section of adding your own CSS class. However, you as a developer, you could modify the callback that actually outputs the custom field. Right now we're just sort of wrapping the label in a span tag with a class, and then the actual value of a custom field with a class as well, wrapped in a span tag. Certainly in the future there'll be more filtering options, but if you did want to go ahead and just add your own CSS class to the widget, and then you can target the custom field that way.
Great question, Jason. Another question comes in, is your plugin fully localized? Again, part of the beta process, getting that feedback. We want to make sure that our UI and our test bed is as strong as possible, but that is like on our Scrum chart radar is what we want to move to next.
And yes, we have a lot of translation functions in there and whatnot, so we're ready to go pretty much with that aspect.
Let's see what else we have. Oh, Dan. Let's see what Dan says. And to look at the conductor with other themes, watch video after the demo here. That's just Dan sort of promoting us. Conductor plugin that in. What is the plugin license that is given to a developer like me? Is it one license for me as a developer with unlimited client sites? Is it per client license? What about support? Please add some information about it. Thanks. And let me go ahead and hit that as the answer. So that's what we're working through now. If everybody who signs up to conductorplugin.com/beta, or if you've already signed up in the previous demos that we've done, you're on a MailChimp list, and we're going to shoot you a copy, or we're going to shoot you a discount code to use for one license copy for the plugin. We are still figuring out what the pricing is going to be like, what the support load is going to be like. We've been selling themes for almost 2 years now, so we have a great system in place for support and answering questions, help desk, ticketing, live chat, documentation, all that fun stuff. So we definitely know about this support issue. Right now, for the beta, there'll be one site license for developer, and if you're already on the early bird list, you'll more than likely get discount to agency level or developer level plans. Great question. Let's ask Ellen. Ellen, is there a hook if post_content is not being used by the theme?
Yeah, so as I stated before in the answer to Jason's question, you could definitely change the callback function as a developer for whatever elements being output. Some have specific callback functions like post content, the author byline. You know, we're sort of outputting that in how we dictate it, but you could go in as a developer and change that very easily. So if your theme, let's say, uses the excerpt, you can easily change that just right in the options. But if your theme used a custom field, for instance, I don't know exactly where you would be storing the content, but if it was in a custom field, or we had a great discussion with Josh yesterday from Pods talking about querying from another table. You could certainly create your own custom query to fetch that data if need be.
Yeah, I mean thank you, Ellen, for that question. Again, you're all part of this sort of beta process with us, and we can't thank you enough for tuning in and learning about this. Definitely. And if you do decide to buy into it, you are folks that will be helping us sort of shape the vision for this product. We're walking that fine line of something that is, very, GUI intensive. Like, we don't want to be seen as a page builder, but at the same time, we're helping you build pages of content. We're really focused on content within your WordPress site and getting it to the front end. So we can also help page builders by doing the query stuff for you and then adding on a little twist of doing displays like side-by-side, table, list, grid, that kind of thing. So there's lots of things that play. We don't want to be too bloated, and we don't want to be too, lacking features.
Yeah.
Scott Kingsley Clark. Can this type of widget get custom feeds of data from a plugin like Pods, which could feed it data from an advanced content type, custom database tables separate from post type in WordPress?
Perfect. We actually, I just alluded to that a little bit before with our talk with Josh. We had a nice call with him yesterday, so thanks again, Josh. We did talk about this, and definitely you could create your own custom conductor query that would go ahead and fetch the data wherever it's stored, whether that be a custom table or if it's in a custom field, for instance. You could definitely certainly do that very easily. Hook in, run your query instead of the default, and that's actually how our user query add-on works right now.
Awesome. Another question from Ellen. On archive pages, can you have different layouts for, say, different categories or taxonomy terms in the template, and same for all categories taxonomy?
Good question. So out of the box right now, we do have an add-on that will create what we call a dynamic query. Basically, that will say if you add a layout to a particular category, let's say the uncategorized, and you had, or rather, let's just give a sports category because that's a better example. And then underneath that, you had child categories of baseball, basketball, soccer, football. All of those child categories would inherit the layout that you chose for your overall sports category if you use that add-on. Now, if you didn't want that out of the box Conductor, you can specify a specific layout for a specific category. So sports, if you specify one for sports, the child categories don't actually inherit that layout unless you have the add-on. So you could then go ahead and say, I want my baseball category to look like this. I want my football category to look like that.
It's probably important. Let's just show a quick demo. Again, we demo everything in the front-end customizer because it's beautiful and it's where everyone wants us to be. So we're running with the cool kids. But it also works in, we also have, of course, the widget is fully accessible and available in the dashboard. And here's an options page for Conductor. And this basically just gives you a quick outline of all the pages that have been conducted, and you can get a quick link right to there, and you can change the layout there. So to answer your question, just like Scott just did, but just to show you, get a drop down for you to go ahead and select any category that you want to conduct. So you can conduct the, I don't know, audio category, conduct this content type, and then just say for all my audio categories, archive pages, give me content sidebar, save, right? You just keep going and you keep adding any of the categories, any of the single post pages, all of that fun stuff. You can just do that all right from here, so you don't have to browse to it in the customizer. So great question,
Definitely.
Ellen. Let's see. What else do we have? Any news about the coupon code? Nuno, if you are on, if you join the email list, you will get access to that. That's conductorplugin.com/beta. Topher, I saw someone today compare this to Drupal views, which I know nothing about. Did you take any inspiration from that? Topher, that's a great question. Those that follow my podcast know that I started out in the Drupal world, and Drupal made me feel like a hero because of CCK and views. That's all I have to say about that. Will you be? I'm actually trying. So Ellen, will I be at WordCamp Boston? I'm trying to get up there. I'm wedding to go to on Saturday, but I might either go on Friday or Sunday. I'll be finding somebody who's scalping tickets because I didn't buy one. But maybe I'll show up. Mario Peshev is going to be there, one of our advisors. So go ahead and
say hi to him.
Yeah, and say hi to him. Give him a high five. Any other questions? Dan, if you're in the audience, I know you are. Is there anything on Twitter that we've missed?
A lot of people, some people tweeting about the this webinar. No real questions that I can see, though.
Jason Resnick asked another great developer question. Actually, he says, that was my next question. Are there any hooks that we as devs can leverage to add in our own functionality? I think you...
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have over 100 hooks, whether it be filtering the content layouts. You can even, as a developer, take the current page and set a content layout dynamically without even one being saved in the options. You can go ahead and build your own custom widget displays, your own custom layouts. You can actually even create your own custom templates. We have a templating system that's very similar to WooCommerce. So if you need to change your let's say you need to change your wrapper elements. Your theme doesn't use a div and it uses a section element or whatever. You can go ahead and easily edit that and adjust that with a hook, or you can actually copy the template into your child theme and overwrite it there, add some more sidebars, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Again, we're going to wrap up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's conductorplugin.com/beta. Join that list. We'll get you the coupon code very shortly after this is done. It'll be an early bird special. It will only be available for the 24 hours, not to sound like the typical web marketing sales guy, but we only have a limited amount of seats. We only want to be talking to a few people during this process, people who are really invested into using this plugin for a particular project. Again, the way we're looking at it is you can build a query, you can output this stuff. I mean, it's going to take you an hour to sort of output something that might take you 3-4 hours. It can pay for itself very, very quickly. So we hope it's a very useful tool. We're getting all your feedback on using the plugin. Carrie Dill's already razzing me on Twitter saying, click the little eyeball. Sorry, that's my UI expertise. Refining sort of the edges of things like that. And again, you'll be buying in at a very heavily discounted price to be part of this and really be part of giving back and helping us shape this product. I think it's going to be great for developers, designers, agencies, the entire world, whoever we can find. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Conductorplugin.com/beta. Grab that code. It'll only be available for 24 hours to a limited amount of folks. I think 25 is what we're shooting for. So go ahead and join in if that's really you and you really want to test this stuff out. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.